Wait. And we're live.
Okay,
Welcome back to Agbarapa. This is Campbell.
this is TJ. What's happening?
Yeah. And today we've got exciting news again. We will be talking about Trey Songs. Trey Songs accused
Amongst other,
again,
yeah, amongst other things.
amongst other things. Yeah.
I think we're not trying to be. Look, we're playing the game, right? So we're trying to talk about trending things, but we're always going to revert it back to the sort of esoteric ideas, energies, powers behind human behavior regarding sex and relationships.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, just like TJ just said, we'll try to deep dive, go deeper than the surface. Yeah, because shallow people don't last. So
Right. This isn't just like some gossip place.
exactly,
There's
exactly.
plenty of those around for you to find, but we're trying to advance our minds and like I said, we're playing the game. So yeah, you might see something that looks a bit clickbaity,
Mm-hmm.
but we're still actually in search of truth
That's it. That's the one.
and
That's the
self
one.
betterment.
That's the one. So if you're joining us from any of our social media platforms or you're joining us on YouTube, go on and watch our previous videos. It will make sense because you might be jumping on too late. We talk about archetypes a lot. We talk about sexual energies and we talk about this mystical figure that is Pompa Gira, Mami Wata, and she seems to be wreaking havoc all over the entertainment industry and even in our personal lives sometimes. So, yeah, join the conversation.
Unbeknownst to most.
Exactly. That's the most interesting thing. Yeah, I was following a lecture the other day, and this fellow was talking about the job of the conscious community is to make the unconscious conscious of their unconsciousness. It's a bit of a tongue in cheek, but do you get the whole gist?
So the job of the conscious is to
Yeah,
make the unconscious conscious.
conscious of their unconsciousness.
Oh, right. Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. So
I
we.
mean, I regard myself as still trying to wake up because,
Mm.
but I think it's an endless, it's some truths have no bottom. You just keep finding understanding and learning and, I don't know.
That's
Some
that's
things are
the
very
way to
deep.
go. That's the way to go. Yeah. Be an eternal student.
Mm.
So let's dive in. Let's dive in. Three songs, anal rape accusation, and
I'm curious. Well, we're gonna avoid the R word, but
okay.
I'm curious as to why we're specifically talking about the back door as opposed to just the R word on its own.
So let's dive into what the accusation is because he's not been sentenced. It's just yeah, accusations. He's
Has he been arrested?
no, he's actually denied all involvement and he's denying the fact. This, by the
So
way,
right now it's nothing.
exactly
Right now there's no legal action against him.
none at all. It's just making news because you know how we are. We like to bring ourselves down, build ourselves up, and get distracted with minutia. So this happened in 2016, in March.
Yeah.
Yeah. Homeboy was. So I'm gonna avoid the R word, but Trey Songz allegedly anally a woman at a house party. This according to a new 20 million lawsuit. Okay, so the singer is being sued by obviously a pseudonym, let's call her Jane Doe, who says she had a consensual sexual relationship with Trey Songz before the alleged R word on March the 24th, 2016, when she claims he suddenly turned into a savage beast. Okay? Man. I mean, I'm trying to get.
This is an
Um,
interesting phrase of words.
exactly.
Who said the word savage beast?
The lady. We
Is that a quote?
I mean, this is according to a popular website,
But I mean,
gossip blog.
is the word savage beast a quote?
It's in quotes. Yes.
Wow.
It is in quotes.
So
Yes.
that is extremely interesting. So let's not forget that wording,
Mm-hmm.
and then you'll understand why I said, "Wow." We can discuss that, but please continue.
Yeah. So, according to the lawsuit, Trey invited her to a house party in LA, where he then
Mhm,
invited her upstairs to what she believed would be consensual sex.
mhm,
Instead, she claims Trey repeatedly asked her if he could get that ass, okay,
mhm,
on the way upstairs. To which she says, repeatedly, she just said no and told him to stop asking. So in the docs, the woman claims Trey's demeanor changed upon entering the bedroom. She says he threw her to the ground, ripped off her pants, pinned her face. This is so. Jesus Christ. Pinned her down face first and forced his penis into her anus without her consent. The woman claims she screamed in pain and begged Trey to stop and even tried fighting him off. But she says she was overpowered by, yes, Trey. So in the suit, the woman says someone entered the room during the alleged rape, giving her hope that something was gonna happen, that maybe the guy might sense some trouble or intervene or help. But she says the person quickly left the room and Trey kept R word her. The woman claims she was only able to escape after Trey finished and stopped R word her, grabbing her clothes except for her underwear and running outside to call an Uber. So this is where it gets even more interesting because she went to the hospital. The Uber driver took her to the hospital, and she got examined for for assault and if there was any signs of physical abuse. And the woman says the exam showed she had severe anal tearing that could require surgery. But she says she didn't name Trey to the police because she was in shock and fearing for her life. She's now suing Trey for 20 million in damages. Charlie.
okay.
Oof.
So I suppose the first thing we need to say is that um, we don't condone taking sexual action by force
That's
over
right.
here.
That's right.
Um, and everything we're saying now is from a position of not knowing um, facts and evidence. It's just hearsay.
That's right. He's
I
obviously
think about
denying everything.
he's denying everything. So
He's denying everything.
on a balanced position,
Yeah.
on one side, she would be 100% telling the truth.
Mm.
She would not be, um, let's say, the fact that it's incentivized financially
Mm.
does not make a difference if he didn't, in fact, force himself upon
Mm-hmm.
her. Um, so we can say, if what she's saying is true,
Yeah.
then a terrible and horrific act has been, uh, you know, has taken
Consumed.
place.
Yeah, it's very graphic.
Yeah.
Very, very, very graphic. And I mean, do you see how easy it is to frame brothers for these kind of allegations. It's quite easy in that entertainment world. I see that there is very poor control of sexual energy around there, and yeah, it's crazy. How would a
Well,
guy?
the amount of, I mean, I had a friend that was close friends with a UK based rapper
Okay,
that has pretty good success in the UK. I don't know how successful he would be in America, but and if I said the name, which I
hmm.
don't really want to right now,
Yeah, let's leave names out.
everyone in the UK would know who that person is.
Okay,
Had number ones, hits, etc. Right?
okay.
So one day he called me and he said that he got groupie sex
Mm,
um, because he was rolling with that guy after a concert. He was rolling
okay.
with that artist after a concert, and they were out of town. They weren't. They were in another town, so they were
Yeah,
staying in a hotel. And there was these two girls.
yeah.
So the girls found their way to his hotel room.
Hmm.
They knocked on the door. Him and his friend opened the door, and there's these two very nice, hot black girls there.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, that both of them basically made it abundantly clear that they wanted to come in to have sex.
Okay.
And they were like doing a competition amongst each other, like, pick me. No, 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 pick me.
Hmm. Hmm.
He just said, all right, you, to one of them.
Hmm.
That girl went in. And then my friend just took the other one and
Okay.
he went into his room. She didn't know him. She'd never seen him before. And then they had sex in his room.
Hmm.
What I'm trying to say, why am I saying this? Because the kind of sexual attention that a superstar, such as an R&B singer,
Yeah.
I would say Trey Songz is of at least one order of magnitude bigger than this UK artist,
Okay.
right? So the sexual attention that someone like Trey Songz will be getting
Hmm.
is, it's enormous.
Yeah.
It's huge. So there's probably there's and then do you know what one of the most popular multi-million selling books that was turned into a movie is, that is for women? Do you know what that, let's just remind ourselves of the book 50 Shades of Grey,
Oh yeah. 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 BDSM. Yeah. Yeah.
right? um then let us talk about, and in that book there is rape simulation,
Hmm.
and that is a turn on. And not only is it, you may say, oh, that's disgusting, whatever, but like 40 million women bought that book,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they went in their droves to watch the film, to
Yeah.
fantasize about a man that does violent sex with a woman,
Hmm.
right? If the guy is the apex attractive person,
Yeah.
women like a bit of nasty.
Hmm.
And
Suddenly.
then I don't know about you, Campbell,
Yeah.
what would you say your experience in your personal life is when it comes to a bit of rough and tumble between the sheets? Do you have any, what we're not talking about rape, we're not talking about anything, but let's just talk about the kind of sex that you genuinely come across. I've not asked you in advance of this, that
Hmm.
women like. What kind of sex do you think, would you say from your own experience estimation that is?
Yeah. We've already understood that women's sexual appetite is slightly more than what a man's appetite would be. And I have noticed and I can confirm that there is something about a little bit of violence that women kind of, if it's with consent, obviously. We're not talking about forced. If it's with consent, there's a bit of pull my hair, spank me hair, harder. That has been my
Also,
experience.
right,
Yeah.
right, right. So on some sort of range,
Yeah.
but I would say pretty much every girl that I've been
Mm,
with
I
wants
didn't want to
to,
say everyone because, yeah, but okay.
to some scale, right? Pretty
Something.
much every girl I've been with,
Bye.
unless we're going to count like my very first sexual encounters as a
Okay.
young man getting my, not knowing what was going on.
Yeah.
But as I started to mature in my sexual encounters,
Yeah.
I'm thinking in the 90th percentile,
Hmm.
uh, the being sort of forcefully taken.
mm,
This could include spanking, choking, pulling, pinning down,
okay.
um, right? This is very much a part of something that women like in
Hmm.
bed, and I think the men like it too. It appeals to the man's ego.
Hmm. That's very interesting because there is a syndrome, if we can call it a syndrome, which is the Madonna whore syndrome. Let me just dig it up so we could get the right words for it. So basically, what it says is that men will not do to their wives or to their, partners what they would really like to do. So when they want to enact a violence, certain type of sexual acts, they would do it with a whore and not with the wifeys. So yeah,
That
it's
is the whole. That's a can of worms because that means that men are not expressing themselves fully sexually with their partners.
I mean, would you really want to do everything with your partner, your lifelong partner? There are some things you reserve, exclusively for this one, and then I kind of behave like that. I don't know. I'm kind of so it's a complex. Sorry, it's not an effect. It's a complex, and it's basically the inability to maintain sexual arousal within a committed, loving relationship. It's yeah, it's you're basically selecting what you want to do with specific partners, and I find that plausible. I've been through that kind of situation where I wouldn't want to do this kind of act because it brings out an undisclosed side of me. Whereas with this one, I know, yeah, is you're getting it all day
But aren't
long.
we supposed to be like fully sexually liberated with our partner? I think the only thing that springs to mind is maybe something like a threesome. But like,
Hmm.
as far as like the sexual acts, I want to share my most enjoyable sexual acts with my partner.
Hmm. There's a line I really need to read to you. So it's basically saying men with this complex desire a sexual partner who has been degraded, the whore, while they cannot desire their respected partner, the Madonna. So that is interesting.
That
Um,
that holds a
yeah, it
that's
holds
a big
weight.
there's a big question mark for me there.
Okay.
I think that that is probably the case for many men.
Hmm.
For example, um, in porn,
Yeah.
um, it's it's common for the ending of a scene
Okay.
to result in I'm trying to keep this um
Kosher.
I'm trying not to be completely vulgar with my wording.
Okay.
but you know what I'm saying? Like, there is
The final scene where they kind of finish off,
yes, the
round up.
crescendo.
Yeah.
The crescendo is usually based around um, finishing on the face of
Yes.
the woman, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, I know that some women and maybe some men would regard this as disrespectful,
Mm.
like an act you wouldn't do with your wife, as you say.
There you go. Yeah.
Right, right, right. Um, but in another scenario, you know, your wife might be down for that kind of stuff.
Mm.
She might want to give you the experience,
Yeah.
so that you don't go and find it somewhere else, so that you get fulfilled at home.
Yeah.
Especially if you talk about it and you understand, you know,
You've been going on and on about it. She might want to please you.
she might want to. Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes. Excuse me for trying to be careful.
I know.
But yeah, so my point is, so all of this stuff, what like we've branched off a branch. Let's just get back to Trey Songz for a second.
Trey.
I think that there's many women who, if who placed in a scenario,
Yeah.
may enjoy being taken somewhat, maybe not fully verbally consented, because a lot of times sex isn't fully verbally consented, and sort of taken a bit rough, in a rough manner.
Yeah.
Now, so we've got her truth on the right, which is what we've heard. Then all the way on the other side of the equation, she could just be regretting that she was the Madonna. Right? That she was the one in which he enacted his sexual fantasy that is preserved, maybe not for his true partner, but for
the whore.
The whore.
Yeah.
You know, one thing I've learned about women is that they maybe, even if they are very loose, in the sexual department, they don't want the person they're with to make them feel like a whore.
Yeah, they still have boundaries.
But even if they're being the whoriest whore of whore,
sluttiest,
like the sluttiest slut of sluts. That if you treat them as if you really like drill it home, it kind of becomes disrespectful.
Yeah.
But if it's like all cordial,
you
know, throughout, but just when the actual act takes place, so it could be a scenario where he's really treated her like a whore. He's spoken to her like a whore. He's, you know, enacted everything as if she's a whore, and she has regret for being a whore. In her own estimation, and there's an opportunity to profit.
You think? Okay, I really, this is a delicate subject, but you think she premeditated this? She kind of knew there was a possibility that she could benefit from this scenario.
I don't think she premeditated it. I think she saw an opportunity based off, like, they could have had consensual anal, and she just was uncomfortable and she rushed out because she was like, you know what, I don't feel good, I'm going to go to the hospital and check myself out. And he was like, well, I'm staying at the party. And from there, she's like, how can I get back at this guy? We've just shared this moment and he doesn't seem to care. So now, because I've got this medical record, how can I get back at him? You know what? I can get him for rape and get
Yeah.
him,
Get some money.
get some money.
Look, from
It's
from my observation, and sorry to cut you there, I just think, yeah, he Trey in this case, he's yeah, he's past the limit. This is beyond. I don't know what's going on in Hollywood, and I understand it's for these guys. It's really easy to have sex on demand. Okay, so it's according to the story, this lady, this girl, was in some kind of relationship with him. I don't know if it's friends with benefit or an on and off situation, but they have kind of been together before. That he's kind of calling her to a house party and etc. But just imagine how figurative it is that you're inviting someone over. I'm taking you upstairs. As I'm taking you upstairs, I'm telling you in your ear, whispering to you, look, I want that ass. And she's telling you no. What I'm thinking right now, for a split second, I'm just thinking maybe they've done this before. And maybe, there's a little bit of role playing that sometimes couples like doing. So maybe they've done this before, and she's like, maybe tonight is not the night. But he went ahead and overpowered her. That is the lowest regard you can have for your partner. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's like, look, and I don't know if, let's not go into the, but if you've given, done anal sex with the partner, it's something you need to get ready in advance, is
yeah,
very,
it
very
takes yeah,
painful.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
It needs a lot of preparation, hygienically, mentally, you know, there's a lot that goes into it. So just grabbing
yes,
someone, pinning them down, what were you trying to? This is full sodomy, mate. This is he's literally telling her, "You whore, shut up and get this." This is how I feel about it.
so if it was not anal, everything about this would have been fine.
Exactly. And I wonder even why they specified, they're trying to make the charges greater and to have like public opinion on the girl's side, which I understand. It's after what is it, 6 years coming out with this allegation, it is kind of delicate. You want to do the right thing. So I understand they're trying to sway public perception onto her side so that she can get the compensation she needs and hopefully get justice. But yeah, man, brothers are always falling for it, always falling for it. I mean, in 2016, people were still getting shot for very little things. You're a black man in America. I understand you're a superstar, but didn't you stop and think? Like, do you understand what I'm saying, TJ? You kind of
Yeah,
stop and think, and you're like, okay, this is what's going on. Maybe she said no. Okay, it's fine. Maybe, yeah, tell her I don't want to see you again. Get out of my face. Go somewhere else with that bullshit. But you went ahead and still perpetrated this violence. This is unconscious behavior.
you know what? I think that you've made probably a better point than me because you made me see a perspective there. Like
Yeah.
I don't think I think that if you are a star such as the likes of it's easy to say from my position.
Yeah.
If you're a star such as the likes of Trey Songz,
Yeah.
then you want to be erring on the side of um you want to be erring on the careful side,
100%.
more than
Yeah, there's a lot at stake. Your reputation, your money, your contracts, your endorsements. There's too much at stake for you to
there's a
be
lot at stake.
just behaving. Yeah, man, where's his entourage? Where's his management? Where his boys? Like for you to be doing this at a party, nah, man, you've lost it. Look, for some time now, I've been following some gossip news, and Trey has been moving different, like possessed. He's he was shooting music videos where he's spitting into these girls' mouth. I don't know what's going on in Hollywood, but the money and I would say the money and inexperience conundrum. This is what it produces. This is what giving kids all this power and resources does. It gets to their head. This is
So
100% unconscious behavior.
we need to, okay, let's just address that quickly.
Yeah.
To all of those that are listening, what do you mean when you say unconscious behavior?
So, in Jungian psychology, we have repressed within us a shadow. And in this shadow, we hide, we can't eliminate, so we hide all those behaviors that are not acceptable in society. And because we hide them and we don't really deal with them, sometimes they take over us. They take the best of us, and they manifest themselves. Okay.
Right.
So with this said, yeah, this is definitely, because this is not something you think about. He obviously wasn't thinking about going on the news and having to explain. Look, we've done this before. She enjoys it. I enjoy it. How do you explain it? You just can't. So
Yeah.
this seems like something he's obviously repressed within him, and these kids, they never get told no. No girl is telling Trey Songz no. He's getting pussy thrown at him every single day. So why not? Why not do this? And yeah.
Do you think the onus is on him to basically have better dick discipline?
100%. 100%. You're too influential to be so naive about what to do with your private parts. Plus, we don't know who this lady is, and that is what I'm trying to figure out. I'm following the story because these superstars have access to porn stars on demand with money that has no end. And yeah, these women are trained. These are actors, actresses. Do you understand what I'm saying? Why would you go down
Yeah,
this
I mean,
road?
it is, to me, it's not even porn stars. It's like, yeah, they are porn stars,
Yeah,
but there's a very thin line between porn stars and escort these days, because probably every escort can diversify by having an
exactly.
OnlyFans,
Yeah, yeah,
and every
yeah,
OnlyFans girl can diversify by having some high end clients,
yep.
right? So
Yeah,
he
yeah.
definitely has access to this kind of thing.
There you go. Yeah, yeah. So going down this route to me, and he's been moving quite strange in these years. I don't know if the times have kind of revealed his true colors, but just that is the level of contempt you have for whoever this girl is or this partner is, just to go straight for the back door. This is, and pinning her down with force, and I don't know, what vocals was going on there, but for her to now go to the hospital, get checked. I mean, I'm raging because I feel like we always fall for these things in our community, especially the black brothers in entertainment. Assault, especially sexual assault, is the quickest way to bring a superstar down.
There's two things, isn't it? It's like money mismanagement
There you go.
and sexual.
Promiscuity.
I wouldn't even call it promiscuity. It's more than that. It's like sexual mismanagement,
There you go.
like
It's
bad
yeah.
money managed badly,
Mm-hmm.
and so no financial discipline, no
Yeah.
sexual discipline.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And
And,
and
those are the two things that are going to destroy you the most.
yeah, they're gonna rip you up. So you
The
remember,
stakes are high.
yeah, remember the other day in our previous episodes we were talking about these pompagiros are ripping up families, destroying men. These men deserve it. I mean, if you get the one that is, for some reason or the other, she's promiscuous, she's chosen to live that life, and you're doing this to her, if she's tearing you apart, how are you going to blame her for it?
Well,
Because
so
you
this,
understand how superficial these men are, that they think they can get away with this kind of violence, deny it because he's obviously got, the solicitors and everything to go with it. But do you get my point? There needs to be
well, we need to know.
balance.
I mean, if this is true, we don't know how
There you
true it
go.
is,
Yeah, it's still an
but
accusation.
but
Yeah.
I think if we're in a situation where she has a record of the Uber that she had going to the hospital,
Yeah.
and then a record of the injuries caused at
Mm-hmm.
the hospital,
Yeah.
right there, something is uh, Trey needs to answer for something. Now, maybe it was all consensual, even if it was like a kind of regret situation on the girl's part, right?
Yeah.
But if she's been injured, um, if she's been injured physically or she feels slighted, whether it's legally wrong, whatever's happened or not,
Mm-hmm.
he hasn't acted in a noble manner for
Mm-hmm.
her to be wounded. Because if she was, if well, I guess there's a chance that she could just be a wrong un. But if in general, I would assume that even if it didn't go like the best,
Yeah.
if he'd acted in a better manner, these types of things could be resolved. Uh,
On the spot. Because
like
look, she did state that it was consensual. They were going upstairs for consensual coupling sex, okay?
yes,
But the only thing she did not agree to was anal sex, the back door. She
right,
did not want.
something went awry,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And he
and
just said no, it's that one he wants.
if something consensual was planned or
Yeah.
was occurring
Mm-hmm.
and something's gone awry, um, he okay. So should he take responsibility for all of that? I guess so.
Mate,
He should take responsibility in a defensive way, in that he has everything to lose. So he should go above and beyond to make her feel comfortable and to make sure that everything is above board and whatnot, so that he doesn't end up in a situation where she either wants to attack him,
mm,
or she actually has a leg to stand on in terms of, right,
yeah,
taking by
equal.
force.
Yeah. Well, it's all about accountability. We need to hold our brothers, ourselves, our community accountable for these kind of acts. He obviously needs to take responsibility for this if he's found guilty. And I don't know about the comeback because that is all on his PR team.
Never understood
Mate,
taking. I've never understood that backdoor action. It's never really appealed to me.
do you know what? This is where I would say I do get it, and that is fully a Madonna whore complex. This would be a girl that I find very degrading. I have no respect for her because at the snap of a finger, I can get her into the most inconvenient places and do what I want. Okay. So I don't
Sorry,
know.
sorry, sorry, sorry. What,
Yeah.
this particular woman, or if you were
That kind of woman. that type of woman that I can call to a you know I'll say a little experience that I had. Yeah, there was I guess a couple years back, so about 10 or 11 years back. Yeah, I was having dinner with friends. I told you about my experience. I always love being around escorts. Okay, cool. And
I
having
mean, you
dinner.
told me, you haven't told the audience. I don't know what's going on there.
Wait,
Yeah, by the way, I love being around escorts.
yeah, by the
Okay,
way, yeah, that's a
nice
little
one.
thing Campbell, yeah, likes to get
Uh,
on with.
Go on, go on.
So this one time I was having dinner with, and obviously they're all women. Oh, we're having dinner, and this girl walks in. The minute I saw this girl, I knew within my spirits that I can get her and I can do whatever I want with her. Okay. So I kept pushing it, pushing, and being very forceful with my intentions. Okay. I wasn't grappling or anything, but just, conversations, you're talking about specific subjects and etc. So she sat me down towards the end of the dinner and I was about to leave. She sat me down and she said, "Are you treating me like this because," and she used the Spanish words, "because I'm a puta?" Ah, Chale, my heart. I was like, no, oh, no, no. Nah, she was right. I was behaving that way towards her, making it obvious because I
You
knew that was
treated
what
her
she did.
like, you see, you violated my first point, which is even if they are, don't treat them like one.
There you go. But Campbell was inexperienced back then. I didn't know about Pompagira. I didn't know about self-development. I didn't know anything about Maslow's hierarchy of need. I didn't know anything. All I knew was if it stands up, it's time. That's it. So, Chale, seriously. So I tried to camouflage it, right? From then, I tried to like, no, what are you talking about? I tried to massage her shoulders, but she knew it. You're a liar. You're a man. That's all you want. Once you've had it, you're gone. So, yeah, that is just to say, I think this is how certain men, not to say all men, but certain men treat women they know they can get away with easily. And, they're on call. And this girl seems to be one of those, maybe, a booty call, a specific one. You're all out here in LA, house party, you've had a couple shots, maybe you're having a cocktail of drugs. You're like, okay, which one do I link up? Which one is gonna give me that dirty pum pum right now? And it's Emily, or in this case, Jane Doe. Yeah, it's a fake name. It's not her name, but this Jane Doe. Link her up. Come over. You are in a state of
It,
euphoria that you're
it's
not even
not respect.
thinking. That there you
It's
go. Yeah.
also it's not respecting the abundance. So he's thinking I can get a girl, any girl I want, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
I can get a girl every night I want. They're lining up. They're in my DMs. They're in
Mm-hmm.
my contacts.
Yeah.
I've chosen you,
Mm-hmm.
right? And here's the misjudgment. I've chosen you, and you're lucky to be with me
There you go.
because all of the options I have. A lot of us fall into this. A lot of us fall into this.
We do. Yeah.
Like especially young, pretty girls in a big city that have a
Yeah.
lot of options.
Yeah.
They tend to not treat men. They treat them as disposable.
There you go. Yeah.
Sports guys, entertainers, they treat the
Yeah.
girls as disposable,
Yeah.
and because they know they can get another.
Yeah.
The trick is to be meek,
Mm.
and I love the phrasing of meek, the way Jordan Peterson translated it from its original meaning.
Okay.
So meek and weak in modern day seems to be the same thing.
Hmm. Okay.
But
Break it down. Break it down for us.
meek translates something like those that have swords and know how to use them, but only use them when absolutely necessary. You have the skill to kill,
Okay.
but you that doesn't mean you go around and you say, shut up or I'll kill you to everyone you meet, even though you have the skill to wield that sword. You try and resolve all issues at the last resort is pulling your sword out and fighting.
Right. That's meek.
That's meek.
Timothy, but okay, carry on.
So to be meek in this scenario, would be despite having many options, to still value that person as a special individual moment that is rare, because it's an individual that's giving up a very intimate thing.
Yes.
Respecting the moment, rather than saying it's your privilege to be with me because I can get as many as I want.
Yes.
Right. So that would be a meek attitude towards this scenario. And if she then doesn't respect you, then you've got another option. You've got other options. But the chances are that you giving that respect will see you have a better moment, better connection in the moment, probably a better experience. And it will shut down the possibility of things like 3 years, 4 years later, comebacks like this.
We wish the best for for both parties involved in this.
If she's lying, she deserves to be. If she's lying, she deserves to suffer painful consequences. And if he's guilty, he deserves to suffer. That he should suffer the
law.
Right. So, if that's the only thing that I bristle about these situations, is that quite often women know that accusations are damaging to reputation and all of that, even if it doesn't go all the way. And there's very little consequence once they get found out that they're lying. So I hope I hope that if she is lying, which we don't know, she gets exposed for that. And I guess vice versa if he decided to do what he did.
All right. So let's move on to our next subject. That would be NFT slaves.
Okay.
This is a shameful one because once again on OpenSea, a popular trading NFT marketplace, we have seen NFTs. Obviously, we know about. We're going to talk about the blockchain, NFTs, tokens, and the crypto world. But basically, there were images being traded on OpenSea by this account. I can't even. It is being taken down, so there isn't much information on it. But this one account was sharing pictures of popular black celebrities and black people that have been famous recently, like George Floyd, the kids that got shot down. The name escapes me, and they were selling them as NFTs on the metaverse for quite a lot of money.
Okay.
Yeah. So the fear now, for those who understand NFTs, for those who don't, we're gonna do a whole episode on this. What happens now is that as they've been taken down, these values might go up. To own one of those NFT slaves might actually be worth God knows how much. So, but why is there a need for slaves? I mean, I have kind of a theory around it, but this is despicable. Come on. This
Well,
is obviously
we
this
are in a
is
new era of the internet. So this is the beginning of Web3.
yeah,
And on Web3, the rules and regulations, it's true Wild West again. It's new territory.
there you go. Yeah.
So now that we're in new territory and there's new rules and boundaries,
Yeah.
if someone wanted to exchange, commit, perform digitally anything that would,
Yeah.
be considered taboo,
Yeah.
there's a lot more scope to be able to do so. I mean, just because it's not an open sea doesn't mean these things are not out there. They're out there.
Yeah.
They're out there,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, because of the nature of blockchain technology, and we're probably going to see more of this.
We will. Yeah.
Um,
Shamefully, we will.
so, I, what the question would be: how much of this was how much of this do we think is some party thinking I want to sort of bring back slavery. I want to open the wound of slavery to harm and damage and give pain to the black community versus I want to find a way to create hype, shock, and therefore attention, and so that I can sell this thing for high value. So my gut feeling tells me it's the money.
Yeah.
It's a gamification. I'm not saying the person is not racist. The whoever created this is not racist, but they could be racist and trying to just make a come up. But there's a chance that they're just gamifying
Yeah.
the visceral reaction that black people would have, right? Which you could argue in itself is racist. I understand.
Yeah.
But, their agenda is they're playing a game to,
To make
they're
money.
playing a game to make money, right?
Yeah.
Which is what I would think this is all about.
Yeah.
The question is also, the same question will be asked for whoever would now own such a thing in their wallet.
Oh. So the account that was creating all of this is called Meta Slave. I guess it's been taken down, so I don't know if that was a good idea, but yeah, Meta Slave is the account that was sharing and selling, creating black faces and selling them as NFTs on OpenSea. Uh, they're going to be worth millions now. But again, like you said, I think the monetary component is very important here. You can't deny that there is a racist inclination to this. We don't even know who the guys behind this, they could be black people, they could be white people, they could be anybody. But it just tells more of what our society glorifies and the Greco-Roman inheritance that with the legacy, Greco-Roman legacy that we've taken on of just material, being material, being material, being material. So at any cost, make it to the top at any cost, whether it's ethical or not. Just make it, mate. So
Yeah,
I heard
crabs in the
somewhere,
bucket.
yeah, I heard somewhere that the trending topics now in this new century are race, foremost, sex, and LGBT related news. They literally get on top of any list. So, I mean, very creative, but in the wrong direction, I would say. It's just showing once again in our community, and I would say in our worldwide human community, this time, not just the black community, that we speculate on everything, things that maybe they shouldn't even be speculated on, because we're not done with racism. But
Hmm.
wow, this is very, very, I mean, this is low. This is extremely low. And we're getting into the higher talk now, but Uh, I just think there's a lot of fear around a certain type of people. I would say people in the black community finally climbing up Maslow's uh, hierarchy of needs. So we identified the last time that at the very bottom you have your physiological needs, and at the very top you have your self development and your need um for self. What was the word we found? Self actualization at the very top of the pyramid. So
Yeah.
I find that from a couple years now, I can't really tell when, there has been this kind of awakening call uh, that has been, throwing black people into different paradigms. So we're having different conversations now. We're talking a lot about how we see ourselves, about the love we want to give ourselves, about belonging to a certain place. There's a lot of talks in that direction. And I think someone is sticking out their ugly nail, trying to bring these people down out of fear that, retaliation might be the next thing. And so, yeah, these people are living in fear. There's kind of an air of fear that is just going up and down in these Western, how would I even call them? It's just going about in the West. We don't really want to say, the double mac or whatever that is going on, but there's a lot of fear that is being sold right now. And looking at the other community, it looks like they're climbing up this hierarchy of needs now, where there's a lot of conversation about being better people, about being spiritual and etc.
So you're saying, just to clarify,
Yeah,
black people are climbing up the hierarchy of needs.
that's what it feels like. For a very long time, we've been worried about. I mean, not all of us, but it's
Is that not a positive thing?
that is a positive thing if you're black. But what if you're not black? I mean, it's gonna get crowded up on top, and we know there's only space for a few people up on top. So
Yeah.
I believe it's the case where, out of fear, a certain group of people are descending. The proverbial fall of their gods in Genesis, of the angels. They're now resolving to dirty tactics, and they're falling from Mount Olympus, where they've been
This
comfortable for a
again.
very long time.
So this again would be subconscious.
I think it is. It is. This is just it's happening. And I mean, I don't know if I can even say subconscious, because to get to the top you need to have a very good grasp of your shadow, okay, to be at the self actualization spot. Okay, we know these people, the likes of Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates. These people at the top, for whatever reason, okay, they are not there because, yeah, there might be a level of inheritance, but there is something to them that just looks right. They just channel, or they have control of this inner energy, and they know how to use it and move it about. So I think they are well aware of these dynamics, but it's the case where now fear is kicking in.
I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
This kind of thing doesn't concern me all that much.
Okay.
I think this is the normal ebbs and flows of, power dynamics that the world has always seen.
Hmm.
And I'm very wary of the black community
Yeah.
um, holding a victim mentality.
Right.
I have to be very delicate about this because already I know, but it's very comforting to or it's very easy to be an activist and say these are the injustices,
right,
these are the groups responsible.
right,
If you're not careful, you make a shallow analysis, and often these situations are very complex.
right,
They span many years,
right,
and it's like I used to think war was like one side over here fighting against one side over there.
okay,
And what happens is when you go through a history lesson and you look at war, it's just one big mess.
yeah,
Like innocent people are dying,
yep,
people are being shot accidentally,
yeah,
collateral damage, infrastructural damage.
yeah,
The reasons the soldiers are shooting each other is because couple of people a long way away
yeah.
are due to benefit from it,
There you go. Yeah,
right? And often they are ethnic groups or clustered groups
yeah,
that are neighbors, which share like most of the same culture.
yes,
Like that, like the Irish and the whole Northern Ireland stuff.
yeah, yeah. They
It's
too
like
have been through it. Yeah.
right. So it becomes a big mess,
Mm-hmm.
and shallow analysis feels good in the moment,
Yeah.
but doesn't get to resolve things. And we see this. I push back on a lot of this woke culture.
Yeah.
That could be feminism. That could be, sort of extreme pro-blackness. That could be LGBT. This is how you should call me. This is how you shouldn't call me.
Yeah.
Sort of like all of this stuff.
Political correctness.
Political correctness. I'm not for political correctness.
Okay.
And so when I see this thing, this slavery thing, like there's no part of me that bristles my racial like it's like that sucks, but like I'm just gonna carry on with my life tomorrow.
Yeah, happens. Yeah.
Whereas when we're talking about this scenario of the Pompagera,
Yeah.
and how we are interacting with each other,
yeah,
as humans in a terrible way,
yeah,
in an unconscious way, forging weak and shallow relationships that are meaningless, that don't promote, that decimate family. That kind of thing is what keeps me up at night, because no one even cares.
Yeah,
like it's like a true guerrilla warfare. Like there's no one point of attack that you can just point at and just like say, if we pull out this route, we'll win. It's just like multifaceted snake eating itself. The more digital we get, the stronger it becomes.
yeah.
That is a crisis that will have a reckoning, or is having a reckoning now.
It is, yeah.
And the reckoning will be like recently there are more women for the first time since records began, people started recording this stuff. There are more women without children at 30 than women that have children at 30. Like this has never happened before in humanity. And you might say on the surface that, well, it's just women, just whatever. Like, we women seriously underestimate, or many women seem to, in the modern world, in the more modern countries in the Western world,
Yeah.
to greatly underestimate how fertility, how bad fertility gets after 30, after 35. Like, it really starts to fall off a cliff, your ability to have kids. And we're staying adolescent throughout our 20s mentally. By the time we become adults, whereas in the past, you know, that would happen younger.
Yeah.
We can sedate ourselves with sex, online interaction, career, endless content online and Netflix and social media. We can sedate ourselves with all of that.
Yeah.
We don't face reality. We push things further and further into life. We communicate through punchlines on Twitter,
memes,
on TikTok, memes, and it leaves no side better off. And then it has these secondary, tertiary, and beyond negative knock-on effects. We don't understand our nature. We don't understand the history of our relationships, sexual nature.
Yeah.
You know, and we think we can just, social media can just, you know, like I've said this before. Sorry for this rant. I do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Okay.
If Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu did not exist, and then I tried to create a martial art, it would take me a lifetime to learn, to figure out, of continuous practice, to figure out the first tiny building blocks of Jiu-Jitsu.
Okay.
Right. But I get fast-tracked because there's all the generations of knowledge that made Jiu-Jitsu, and then all the generations of Brazilians knowledge that made Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, that built on top of Judo and Jiu-Jitsu from ancient times, that someone has, you know, it's one thing to discover something. It's another thing just to learn it after it's been discovered. So my teacher is passing on knowledge that spans thousands of years, hundreds of years. And I'm able to get something so quickly, relatively, right? And then imagine like, because of a post that I see on social media, I then go and think I can go and defeat my master because I've seen like a post on social media.
You get hurt,
now,
mate.
I'll get banged up. And so the what I'm trying to say is, there are some ideas that are like 10 years old, or 15 years old, that have no regard for 250,000 years of human biology. That we think this, because we've got contraception and the internet, that like it just changes everything. And we're crashing. Our population is suffering. Sexual interaction is suffering. Even our genitals are shrinking. Based on other factors like the plastic in the system, that, you know, the whole world system. And this is across animals as well. So I'm not worried about slavery, NFTs. I think that encouraging everyone to become sexually disciplined as best they can. Encouraging people to become enlightened about the energy, the forces, and you can take it spiritually if you want. You don't have to take it spiritually. I try and look at things in an objective way.
Logically.
A logical way. but to understand the forces within us that drive our behaviors,
Yes.
and not to just penalize everything that we feel, and just try and understand our true nature.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
We have to try and do that to improve ourselves, and so yeah, I guess rant over, but
But what you say, you make a valid point that, we don't know where these things come from back in the dawn of time. And I just think that black people have the responsibility now to create balance. Okay, we've seen what it looks like to be off balance, so now we can't perpetrate the same violence once the tables turn. We need to find a
right,
different solution. That's one. I'm a big advocate of this because in the
some
year,
Nelson Mandela.
I wouldn't even put labels on it. I just think if you're a responsible human being, that
Mm,
just think differently. How is it logical to now seek revenge because for 500 years you have been oppressed? It will just perpetrate the same thing. Now in the next 1,000 years you're going to be under again, and then they are going to be justified to treat you, etc., etc. It's never going to end. So it's one thing. I've even spoken to my family and I've made it very clear that, look, in the future I might not be alive, I might not be there, but it must be understood that I am on the side of balance. So, I would be the German, so metaphorically, I would be the German who is saving Jews from the concentration camps, even though I clearly understand that the monetary system that we're in is flooded by, these people. But I don't justify it and say, okay, yeah, they need to pay. So in the same respect, in the future, me and my family will never justify unsolicited violence against, other races just because they deserve it. There is no such thing.
but I think there's a new type of violence, or a new type of weapon,
Oh,
which,
yeah,
right,
yeah,
so these wars are no longer violence, but they're like kind of stealth,
yeah.
like like bombs that go off, that
Mm-hmm.
don't destroy any infrastructure,
Yeah,
but they get to the core of your
yeah,
mental capacity.
yeah. Cancel
And
culture. Yeah, that's
cancel
so true.
culture,
Yeah,
that's the true, that's like, you don't even realize you're in a war,
yeah. That's
and
very
it's
true.
there. So I think, we have to be aware of these of this kind of situation, and really strive to represent ourselves better, raise our kids to think in this way,
Yeah,
spread the word as wide as possible, that
yeah, yeah.
um
Because yeah, it's inevitable. The tables will turn, but that doesn't mean, yeah, we still need to be on the side of balance, on the side of reason, and which means, look, this has happened, but I don't need to react in the same way. I need to be different. We need to find an appropriate solution for this generation and the future ones. That's kind of my deepest thought on
mm,
racial subjects, because hate only brings you down from the top of the pyramid. That's it. We've been made to believe, yeah, that scarcity at the top is the case. There is only so much space for people to be at the top at self, actualization, which I totally disagree with. I totally disagree with this notion. I think there's enough space, but bringing it
Life
back.
is not a zero-sum game, or
Exactly.
power is not a zero-sum game
There you
necessarily.
go. Yeah. So bringing it back
But
to,
I've got a question for you.
yeah, yeah.
The there is a law called
Okay.
the Pareto distribution,
Okay.
or also known as the 80-20 rule, or
Okay.
also known as the Matthew principle.
Yeah, I've heard of the 80/20. Yeah.
So it seems that there's never been a time in human history
Yeah.
when a small group hasn't dominated
Dominated.
the
Yeah.
majority. All power does accumulate into these groups. Wealth accumulates into these groups,
Yeah.
and it even happens in nature.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
like in a rainforest, the tallest trees get all the light,
Yeah.
and then those trees are, again, this is not my reasoning. This is listening
Yeah.
to
This is
other people,
science.
but this principle crops up in many scenarios,
Yeah.
and the reason it's called the Matthew principle as well is for he who has, oh damn, I'm going to quote it badly. For he who has, more shall be given.
Yeah. For you who has
It's,
none, even that shall be taken.
yes,
Yeah.
right. So let's say right now
Okay.
we wanted to discuss, some specific topic about sex, right?
Okay.
And we wanted to get an expert on the podcast, on
Yeah.
the live stream, right?
Yeah.
So we would seek the highest, most decorated, most established knowledge individual,
Mm-hmm.
right? To do that. We wouldn't go like, all right, most people have, like, there'll be an outlier
Yeah.
or a few outliers in that knowledge space, and then there'll be the majority of the people in that space
Yeah.
that are somewhere on their journey to mastery, may never get there, but might know more than us, but the majority of people would sit there.
Yeah.
So we wouldn't seek those majority. We would seek the outliers,
The few.
and then the few that have the pinnacle knowledge, and anyone else doing a live stream would also seek them.
Yeah.
And then all opportunity then goes to this few group,
Yeah.
and then that few group profit the most, and then their podcast thrives, and then their books sell,
Mm-hmm.
and then, right, so like the power, money, all of that stuff starts accumulating itself at the top.
Yeah.
And then those that are in the majority that are still in that space struggle to catch up and be recognized by, those that would consume that content. Right. So in some ways, maybe this thing of power dynamics is, we can try and seek balance in our life. We can try and not play the game, try and not play the hierarchy game.
Yeah.
Though there's hierarchy in many things that we do.
Unfortunately, yes. Fortunately and unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah, fortunately and unfortunately.
Yeah.
So I don't seek to make all hierarchies even.
Yeah.
I think, it's just to manage yourself, manage your emotion, understand where you place in the hierarchy.
Yeah.
And if you need to climb a hierarchy, you work hard to do so. But not all hierarchies are worth climbing.
That's also true. Not all of them are worth climbing. But I think there's a moral duty of the 20% that are amassing all this knowledge, information, wealth,
Yes.
to take care of the unconscious 80%.
Yes.
Because that's when the 7 deadly sins kick in, and karma will get you down from wherever you are. I mean, I kind of thought about our discussion tonight, but we will talk about it again in our next episode, hopefully. But yeah, it's like we don't have chains and prisons anymore, but a well-structured psychological barrier that
A prison we can't see.
exactly, and obviously is this 10% or whatever you call them at the very top that have masterfully crafted this kind of psychological invisible limit that just keeps us to the max at this very bottom of if you wanna, label it as a pyramid, at the bottom of the pyramid. So I think it's their duty to say, look, whoever wants to transcend that, this is the way. But they're not even doing this. And this is where I just think, look, you guys are now making, a terrible mistake, because you're gonna get it. Whatever you put out there is what is gonna come back to you. What
So
benefit do you have?
what you're saying is that the duty is for
Yeah,
those that at the top to say, I'm willing to share the knowledge on how I got to the top,
I
right?
think
How I
yes.
became enlightened, right? Which reminds me of the Medici family.
Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
And they believed that they had a duty that when they came across talent,
Yes,
they should finance, nurture in all fields.
that's a good one. Yeah, yeah.
And and what happened is all the great Renaissance artists
Yes.
were
That's when,
birthed
yes,
because they were financed by the Medici family,
yes. Very
right?
true.
Like
Yes.
they financed, um, you know,
Michelangelo,
all these guys,
Leonardo.
right?
Yeah,
Some of those guys were not from noble. You couldn't be an artist, or it was very difficult to be an artist if you were
yeah,
not from noble birth back
yeah,
then.
yeah,
And they would say, right, this guy has serious talent. Let's give him a studio. Let's give him an apprenticeship.
yeah.
Let's finance
Sponsorship,
everything he needs.
everything paid for.
And
Yeah,
you don't get like the Sistine Chapel
true.
without that,
Yeah.
like, you know,
Mm-hmm.
that's a gift to the world for generations.
I think that is, man. But do you understand what? I think you nailed it right on the spot. This is their
Sorry,
moral duty.
beyond the gift beyond the gift.
Yeah.
Sorry, I need to get this out.
Okay.
They sponsored this guy who then went on and painted the Sistine Chapel.
Yes.
And that Sistine Chapel and all of his artwork that he was able to create
Mm-hmm.
now becomes an inspiration to millions and millions of people for many generations to come,
Yes.
so that now they might say, I want to pursue this thing, or this is possible in art, this
Yes.
style, this ability. If you've never seen the Sistine Chapel, do you think you'd be able to believe that someone could paint that?
No. No.
Probably not.
There you
So
go. Yeah.
they've indirectly, by sponsoring this guy, helped the process of enlightenment.
Yeah. Human evolution. Yeah.
Right.
The mental evolution. They've contributed to it. And you see how. So there were various of those families that were doing that back in the Middle Ages, trying to bring enlightenment to Europe. But you see what is going on now, and that is what is alarming to me. It's like even the bursaries, the sponsorships, all these things that are put in place are still meant to keep, people in that cage. They're like, oh yeah, look, if you chase it quick enough, if you do this enough, you can be as successful as XYZ and etc. Which is the same thing. They're just okay, taking the struggle, the 9 to 5 to another magnitude. Do you get my point? Whereas in the case of
I'm
the
missing your point. I'm missing your point. I'm
so
missing.
in the case of the Medicis,
Yeah.
they were saying, look, what is art? Okay. We're going to sponsor these various Michelangelos, Leonardo, Merisi, all these artists. We're going to create a collection of your artwork. Okay, you guys go here, do the Cappella Sistina, go here, do the Fontana di Trevi, so the Trevi Fountain. Go and do all these works of art that don't have any monetary value. There
On the
is no
surface. Yeah.
exactly. There's a social value investment that goes into it across generations, across millennia. Okay, like you just explained right now.
Yeah. They were trying to create a different kind of value that was not
Exactly. Yeah.
quantifiable, and it would not necessarily even work,
There you
because
go. Yeah.
Michelangelo might never produce anything of worth anyway.
Exactly. So they're just encouraging an expression of creativity in these
Yes.
individuals for the sole purpose of delight. Okay, just seeing them work at their art was just delightful to them. Was just
to
bringing
to,
out
to,
this.
to push someone, to give someone the soil by which they could flourish
There
to
you
the
go.
maximum.
Boom, you've said it eloquently. But now look at what is going on today. Okay, where you would be sponsored to create something. Okay, let's envision NFTs, blockchain. Okay, the technology. We're going to talk about this in depth. If you're listening to us, if you're just joining Akbarapa, we're going to talk about this and make a whole episode on this. But someone like the one the Bitcoin and
Satoshi Nakamoto.
yeah, Satoshi. Yeah, the name was, I was about to say Kakashi. It's Satoshi. Yeah. So I don't know if he had investors, sponsors, or all of that stuff, but this is great technology that is potentially looking like it's going to free a lot. It's going to redistribute the wealth around for a lot of
Yes,
people.
and he gave it for free to anybody that was
Do you
willing
understand?
to.
And for
Yeah, yeah.
how long has this technology been demonized by these very people on top for selfish gains? Because they just knew there's no way they could own it, trademark it, copyright it. Do you understand what I'm getting at? So
Yeah, yeah.
it looks like in this generation, their sole purpose of helping the people, the 80%, is to gain more power.
So this is just so deep. This
It
is just
is.
like opened up so much in my mind, because El Salvador have announced their city, and there is no, when their city is built,
Mm-hmm.
there is no tax other than VAT.
Look at that. Okay.
So the people that control money now
Yeah.
in the West
Yeah.
establish
They're
their
so
whole,
on the ass, man.
they've created a system that is massively in debt,
Mm-hmm.
and that system can, even if everybody pays,
It can't, yeah, you can't wipe up the debt.
that they have to still create more money just to service the interest,
There you go.
and
Yeah.
and the debt is mathematically impossible to repay.
There you go.
So they're holding tight to a system that is,
It's
you know,
falling.
one
It's-
day will have
yeah.
its reckoning.
There you go.
And even with that reality,
Mm-hmm.
they want to hold on to the power that they have
Yeah.
before we hit the brick wall.
Yeah.
And in the middle of that, there is the first beacon state that has emerged, that has said, the way our system works,
Mm-hmm.
because ownership is not created by debt,
Mm-hmm.
and we don't have to keep expanding, the only tax we need is VAT.
There you go.
So we don't even need to control the money you earn. The money you earn is your money.
It's yours.
There's no tax.
It's yours
It's
to
yours.
do what you feel like.
Go and do what you want to do. Develop, create, save, put food in your child's mouth.
Yeah. Yeah. And you
It's
see,
a radical idea.
yeah, that's the mindset of a Medici.
And it's an they, in the same way that the Medici did not know
Mm-hmm.
that their investment in these artists would result in the amazing pieces of art that were produced
today. Yeah.
that we're still enjoying today.
Yeah.
Nakamoto didn't know that this thing would result in someone creating this
Yeah.
city state
Yeah.
in South America
Yeah.
that is trying to pioneer
Yeah.
a
A new
new
world.
paradigm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is what happens when you give.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That is what happens when you give. When you hold on to it, it only keeps you in power for a short period of time. So it's displaying a principle to us. This is displaying a principle to us. It's saying that true flourishing
Mm-hmm.
is when everybody flourishes.
Yeah.
True flourishing is when you open opportunities. True wealth is built
It's
off the
giving.
back of
Yeah,
giving,
yeah.
and the current system does not adhere to that rule.
There you go. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You
And
know,
it's represented in our politics, represented in every element of the way we function.
yeah, yeah. I was trying to develop a theory around this that fear. So we're still talking
Yeah.
about Maslow's hierarchy of needs,
Yeah.
and fear keeps you at the bottom. But without being corny, love elevates you to the top. And love
So
can be,
those at the top that are holding on to fear are destined to fall to the bottom.
I think so. I mean, history has kind of repeated itself because you would have to resort to more cruel, more, I mean, limiting resources to keep your position. Do you get what I'm
Oh
saying?
man,
And
the
it's just
imagery
gonna
in my
get
mind.
worse and worse and worse.
You'd have to
Whereas,
resort to things like mandated vaccines.
oh,
You'd have to
I mean, don't, I mean, don't ruin it because we're gonna do a whole episode of this, and I think
okay,
it's
okay.
gonna be
And
banging.
so this episode
Yeah,
that we're discussing, that we're going to talk about, we have to start it with the yin yang symbol
we
that
have
I
to.
was telling you about.
Yes,
This all ties in, and once again, we've left the conversation. We're leaving the conversation with way more than we started with.
yes,
So we hope that those of you listening are enjoying it. Please write a comment and tell us what you want to hear about. Do you want us to clarify anything? Do you disagree with us?
yes.
You know, we are open to have suggestions and input from anyone that's watching us and wanting to, we want to share and give, and everyone to participate in, an awakening, if we can find a way to be awakened.
Yeah, yeah. So once again, guys, you've been listening to Agbarapa. Just comment, share, and connect with us on our social media handles. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Reddit. We're on Discord. We're going to be active very soon on Decentraland. We're going to be doing a ton of stuff. So stay tuned and make sure you don't miss any of them. This has been a pleasure from Campbell.
From TJ.
And we're signing out. Have a good night and see you all on our next episode. Bye.
Bye bye. Bye bye.